Hey guys, this is Phoenix and I'm back with another episode of my 1.7.10 modding tutorials. Today we're going to talk about crafting. Now I haven't done this in a while, so I'm a little rusty on crafting recipes. So I guess the first thing we need to do is create a package for crafting. So we're going to right click on our tutorial mod and we're going to create a new package called crafting. And then underneath of crafting, we're going to create a Java class and we're going to call this Shapeless Crafting. And we're also going to create another Java class for shaped crafting. We can do this all in one Java class if we or in one class if we wanted to, but I kind of like to separate them so I can quickly get to what I want to work with at the moment. So we're going to go and create shaped crafting. And we are also going to create a smelting or smelting, new Java class for smelting. Okay. So the first one we're going to talk about, I guess, is going to be our shapeless crafting. This would be like, actually, let's do smithing since we already have an ore. So we're going to do a game registry, and we're going to actually first make a class for this because that's probably the first thing we should probably do. So public static smelting it's void, I'm sorry. Smelting. Okay, there we go. Smelting, and then we're going to do a game registry inside of that, and we're going to add a smelting. This calls for a block input, an item stack for the output, and a float for how much experience you get from that. We can actually check to see what the vanilla ones are if you click control, control, and then click on the add smelting. Come on, open it up. Well, we'll just look at this one. And then we're going to come down here to where it says furnace recipes and control click on smelting or smelting here. This is going to take us to our furnace recipes for smelting. And then this is actually showing us how Minecraft actually initializes these. This dot function is actually up here. It's just saying this dot function get. We don't actually have to worry about that. This is basically the same thing as what we're saying over here in smelting, game registry.add smelting. So we only have to add in these parameters here. So it requires a item or a block or an item. It requires an item stack, and it can also be shown down here as a block item stack, and then the value of the experience as a float. So we're actually going to be looking for iron ingot, and we're going to give 0.7 F for our copper. So we're going to feed it in input, which is, or an output, I believe is what it is first. You can pull that back up. Yeah, so we're going to actually give the input. So we're going to be inputting a block. So we're going to say our where are you? Init. So init blocks. Init blocks dot or copper. Then we're going to give it a comma, and we have to output an item stack. So new item stack, and we are going to be outputting a init items. Init is lowercase for some reason. Init items dot. We're going to give ourselves the ingot copper. And then the last thing we need is the float, which we're going to do 0.7 F. And that should have registered a smithing recipe here. So if we put a copper ore into the smelter and feed it some fuel, and we give it it'll actually give us back an item stack for for a copper ingot. And it'll also give us 0.7 percent XP. And we can test this by going down to tutorial mod. Now this is the first time we're going to actually be using this down here. I'm going to create this here. Copy that, paste it here. Initialization started. Okay. And then we're going to add another one here, and we're going to say registering smithing recipes. And then we're going to say smelting. And that's going to initialize our smelting recipes. So if we go and start Minecraft and give that a chance to load up, I apologize if I seem to be like missing words or like skipping over things. I haven't been feeling good the last couple days. I'm trying to get these videos out for you guys, and I'm not feeling too great. Let's go ahead and let this load here. Any day. There we go. Single player, we're going to our creative world. Let's go and pick up this guy here, or not. I don't know why that's still saying 0.02. I'm pretty sure I fixed that. Yeah, update. Oh, that's test module. That could probably be why I'm in the wrong section to begin with. Save. Okay. Okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and grab a furnace. And we'll just grab some coal. There's some coal. And we'll place this guy down. We'll also grab a stack of this. If we toss this in here, it's actually going to start smelting our copper ore. And it should return... Yep, there it is, copper ingot. So now we are able to gather copper ingots from our copper ore. So yeah, and it's giving us experience too. Game mode 0. Game mode. There we go. So if I pull that out, it's only a 0.7% chance of getting experience. So every 2, it should provide a little bit. So as soon as it hits a value of 1, or I said percent, that's completely inaccurate. It adds up. Every 1% or 1 whole is a value. So that would be 14. So like, okay, the first one should return no XP value, and it didn't. And then the second ingot that comes out would return a increase. And again, it'll pretty much do the same thing. Every once in a while you'll get 2 experience back to back on that because it's not a whole integer like that. But then the next one isn't going to give us any experience at all. So that would be this one will not provide XP. And okay, I guess I don't completely understand the float values on that. Ignore me. I apparently don't know what I'm talking about. Alright, so okay, total failing at, there we go, smelting. Okay, so let's do I guess we'll do a shapeless one here. Alright, so let's go ahead and add some shape Shapeless Crafting recipes. So we're going to do the same thing here. Public static void shapeless, and we're going to give it a game registry dot add shapeless recipe. This is requiring a item stack output and an object array. So what we're going to do is we're going to create an item stack for the output. It requires an item stack for the output. So new item stack. We're going to take our ingots and turn them into a block, I guess. Let's actually go and make that item real quick. So we're just going to go to init blocks, and we're going to copy this. We're going to paste it below it, and we're going to say block copper and block ores, or block copper here. We're also going to open up our blocks, and we're going to duplicate our ores. We're actually going to rename it to block. So blocks. And then we can come back over here to init blocks and change ores to blocks. Okay. So that's now using our blocks there, and then we come down to register, and we can register an item, or I'm sorry, register a block. We'll just copy this one again and paste it right here, and block copper, block copper. Alright, so that's registered our next stuff. Let's actually do this the right way before I just feel like being completely lazy and then there we go. And then down here we'll just not go into that, we'll go into this and register blocks, register blocks dot blocks. Okay. And the only other thing that we would have to do is add our texture to the blocks. I already made one for that because I knew we were going to do this at some point. Assets, blocks, we'll just bring block copper right into there. Okay. Okay. Alright, don't need that open. I do want to put this back over here for references later. Okay. Alright, so back to our shapeless crafting. We're giving it an item stack, and we're going to return init blocks dot block copper. And in order to get this, we are going to return an object array. I believe it's an object array, and then you can stop init. Hang on, init items dot ingot copper. Why are you not working? Am I looking at this entirely wrong? No, bad. Okay, whatever. Those are shaped. That's not what I want. Okay, here now. Where you at? That's game registry. Shaped crafting. No. Where's shapeless crafting? Add shapeless recipe. Add shapeless recipe. Array, array list. Object array. This dot recipe add shapeless Shapeless recipe. Recipe output. Okay, so it is a list. Do I just have to put a semicolon on the end? Okay, give me like 2 seconds here to figure this out. Why is that? That's cursed, that's not what I wanted. Okay, where is my... Were you not asking for an object array though? What's going on? Oh, it doesn't want object arrays, it wants object parameters. That could probably explain that. Let's see, so it just needs a comma then, and then ingot or init items dot ingot copper. Yeah, that's what it wanted. So we'll just do this here. The return value is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're at, with 9 ingots of copper, we should be getting return of block copper. And I'm actually going to show this off by removing it and making it 8 shapeless. So let's go down to tutorial mod here, and we'll go down to this register shapeless. And this is Shapeless Crafting dot shapeless. Alright, so if we go and hit play here, okay, and then with single player test, if we use 9 ingots, which we should have at this point, yeah, we do. Alright, let me grab a crafting table. Game mode 0 or game mode 1. Crafting. So here's a crafting table. We'll just stick that down right here. Bring that up so you guys can actually see what's going on. Right now, it should be doing absolutely nothing until I get to 8 ingots, and then it'll going to offer me a block. Normally, I'd say 9. I was just doing this to show you that I can literally put this anywhere. It is a complete shapeless recipe. It's very hard to demonstrate that if the whole grid's full. But there is a more simplified way of doing that with shaped crafting recipes, and you probably should use shaped crafting recipes for this. So I'm actually going to come up here to the shapeless crafting, and instead of doing this one, we're actually going to be returning a new item stack for init items, and we're going to be returning ingot copper. And then we're going to do a comma inside of here, and we're going to say 9, meaning that it's going to return 9 ingots. And instead of this whole long mess here, let me actually shrink this down so you can... Okay, so instead of this whole long mess here, we're actually just going to say init blocks dot block copper. So 1 block of copper will equal 9 ingots. And what we're going to do instead of this one here, we're actually going to go into our shaped crafting. And inside of our shaped crafting, we're going to say public static void shaped. And in shaped, we are going to create a game registry, and we're going to add shaped recipe. Now this one is one where I was actually kind of confused as to what we were going to be doing with this because I hadn't done this in a while. Yeah, my bad. Game registry, come back. Crafting manager. This is how a recipe is added. So this dot add recipe, new item stack, new object array. This is where I was getting confused because this is the one that actually requires the array. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back over here to this shaped crafting. Let me get in that. We're going to be adding a shaped crafting. So the first return is going to be an output. We're going to say item stack, because it requires a new item stack, new item stack, item dot get item by item from block, init blocks dot block copper, and then after that we are going to say that because it wants an object parameter, this is the object array. So object array, inside of here there are a few parameters that we need. So there's 1, 2, 3. Why are you doing this? So it's an object array. What is going on? Unless you're the exact same way, because it's already casting as an object array. That's exactly what it is. Okay, so and then we're going to say, all right, so I'm just going to do I. This is basically your crafting grid here. I. This, if I bring this down like this, it'll probably make a little bit more sense. So this right here is literally a crafting grid. So this would be the top left hand corner, top right hand corner, top middle, middle left, middle left, middle right, bottom left, middle, bottom. So that's basically the format for that. We're going to add the next portion. In single quotes, we're going to say I, and then we're going to add a comma after that, and then after that I, we're going to assign a value to that I. So I is a new item stack, or we don't really have to do an item stack, but yeah, let's not. So init items ingot copper. So basically what I'm saying is I want the entire crafting grid completely filled with I, where I is our copper ingot. So let's go and test that. Oh wait, I need to actually kill that because we need to register it. Let's go down to our tutorial mod here, and we're going to copy this verbatim, and we're going to change shapeless to shaped, and we're going to change shapeless here to shaped crafting dot shaped. Okay, so now we can go ahead and test that. Test. So it should be the same deal. One ingot does nothing, but if you fill the whole grid, you should end up getting the copper block back. Now, the only way to do this, it's not like a shapeless recipe at all. It's very particular, but if we put this in here, we should also get 9 ingots back. So basically, 9 ingots equals a block, 1 block equals 9 ingots. And smelting, same principle. So yeah, It should all be working here. Yep. Now, let's just go ahead and add in our tools so that we have a manner of getting those. So we're going to come up here to shape, apparently the image. That I'm actually going to close that entirely. Let's go up here to Shaped Crafting. Shaped Crafting. I'm going to condense this to one line because I don't need it spread out like that. I've been doing this. I actually thought this was supposed to be an object array. Why would I think that? Oh, I know exactly why I thought that. It's because OR dictionary recipes require arrays. And in certain manners. We'll talk about that later. Anyway, we're going to do a new game registry, and we're going to add another shaped recipe, new item stack, and we're going to say init items. I need to fix that. I can't deal with it not being capped. So we're going to right click that and refactor it, rename to init items refactor. Okay. There we go. I feel better with that. Okay, so let's go ahead and make our pickaxe here. And we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to say we're going to build our crafting grid. Semicolon on the end of that. And we're going to, for this, we're going to say we want the top of the entire row to be our ingot. And we want the middle, so we're going to hit space. And then we're going to put S space. And then space S space. Space means that there will literally be nothing there. It's not assigned to anything. So basically, crafting recipe will be this and only that. It's 3 ingots on the top, 2 sticks down the middle. You cannot get it any other way. But in order to register this, we're going to say, okay, so I, in single quotes, I is equal to an init items, I-N-I-T-I-T, items dot ingot copper, and we're going to say comma in single quotes again. That's a 1, not a single quote. We're going to say S is equal to items dot stick. Okay, so now we're saying that this, we can actually go ahead and copy this and paste it here. We're going to say spade, pickaxe, so change pickaxe to spade. I don't know what just happened there, but not what I wanted. So spade copper. Now, if we get rid of these spaces, it actually means that this crafting recipe can be built anywhere in that crafting grid, so long as the parameters match. So I'm saying 1 ingot on the top, a stick, and then another stick. Basically, this has to be in a line, though. If it's not in a line, it won't actually work. So I'm saying I is ingot is that. So let's go ahead and copy this again, right down to the next line. We're going to do the sword since that's not a very difficult change. So sword, copper, we're going to say I and I. So ingot, ingot, stick. Then we'll do our next one here, which is going to be our hoe copper. So 2 ingots on the top, I space. We're going to say space S and space S. Okay, so basically we don't need, we're basically saying we only need 2 rows of that grid. The first item has to be an ingot and there can't be anything below it. The second column has to be an ingot followed by a stick followed by a stick. And that's exactly what we're saying here. So then we can copy this again, and we should probably actually delete this and put a space here, delete this and put a space here. That'll allow us to mirror that recipe. There is an easier way of doing that, but I can't remember how to do it right now. I'll actually have to figure that out later. So the next one we're going to do is we're going to actually do our axe. So axe, copper, which is ingot, ingot. Then we're going to do an ingot stick, space, nothing with the stick. And then we're going to copy that again. Directly below it, we're going to say ingot, ingot, plus stick, ingot, plus stick, space. So we have our pickaxe, we have our spade, we have our sword, we have our hoe, and we have our axe. That should be all 5 tools. We also enabled it so that the hoes and axe are mirrored. There is an easier way of doing that, and I just cannot remember it right now. Yeah, not at all. Anyway, let's go ahead and test this out in game. Make sure that we can get our stuff now. Okay, let's load up test here. Okay, so if we come in here and we actually had some sticks. Okay. Alright, so the first thing we're going to check is, can we make a spade? Yes, we can. Can we make a shovel? Or a sword, not a shovel. Okay. Can we make a hoe? Yes. How about if we move this over here? It doesn't matter where we put it, we will always be able to make that hoe. As long as it's not like that. Can we make our axe? Yes. We can even move the whole thing over 1 to here, but as long as it has to be lined up. So we can also do that in reverse, which is like that, and we would get our axe. We can get our pickaxe. Yeah, so we can get all our tools. So there's our pickaxe, our axe. Let's pull an axe out and make sure that it's usable. Oh yeah, that's usable because I'm in creative mode, game mode 0. Yep, our axe is indeed usable. We can make blocks. We can turn those blocks back into ingots. So all of our items actually have recipes now, and they are all registered in game and working. So yeah, that's all we're working on today. In the next episode, it might actually be a good idea for us to have a way of being able to use our copper ores by actually getting them to spawn in the overworld or nether and wherever you decide to put your ores. And I'm still confused. I'm actually looking on the web right now to see if I can figure out how to do the mirrored, but I'm not going to worry too much about it. This works. It's just going to look at, it's going to have 2 recipes in NEI. There is got to be a way of fixing that. Add shapeless sword hoe. Nah, it's probably after all of this. Give recipe size, match, inventory equals, no. Crafting result. I'll figure it out. Don't worry. I'll go over this the next time we talk about crafting, which probably won't be too far away if I can remember how to figure out mirrored crafting. We're gonna, in the next episode, we're gonna actually set up our world generator and get our ore spawning in the world, and then we're going to be talking about ore dictionary registries and why it's a good idea to use ore dictionary. And then we're going to talk about how to convert our current recipes that we have into recipes that support the ore dictionary. Alright, so that's pretty much this episode, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Okay, if I can actually get to the right thing to stop this.